The facts are very, very clear. The United States is heading toward a debt crisis. The only solutions will be truly painful for us all. That doesn't have to be our future. The way we respond to this challenge will ultimately define our generation. We can choose a path to prosperity. Let's take a look at how we can do it.
Yeah, let's do that.
Our debt as a share of the economy is already too high, but look at where it's going. These are actually pretty conservative estimates. We face a crushing burden of debt, which will take down our economy. It will lower our living standards. Actually, I asked the Congressional Budget Office to model the economy going forward. So they have these computer programs that simulate the U.S. economy. The computer program crashes in 2037 because it can't conceive of any way in which the U.S. economy can continue because of this massive burden of debt.
The thing is, we're in an epic recession right now, and debt tends to get a little bit higher in a recession.
You know, the economists tell us, when your debt gets to 90% as a share of your economy, you start slowing down and we stagnate. We prevent that from ever happening.
Even with overwhelming optimism, that's just not possible. First off, he plans to lower the deficit with nearly $2 trillion in tax cuts, but yet revenue goes up a lot, much more than it's going up now. Also, one of the biggest cuts in his plan, which happens to deal with Medicare, doesn't take place for another 10 years. But between 2013 and 2022, he takes the deficit down by almost 15%. That's impossible.
So how will we do it? We will cut spending. Washington's unsustainable spending is driving the nation's permanent plunge into debt.
Yeah, that and trillions in tax cuts for corporations and high-income individuals over the last 12 years. Credit crisis didn't help either.
Look at the growth of government under the current path we are on. The government grows to such high levels that by the time my 3 children are my age, the government will be twice the size for them than what it is for me. Our plan brings spending back down to the historic level of 20% as a share of our economy.
A lot of it had to do with social programs related to the recession, which was desperately needed because unemployment hit the highest rate since the 30s. TARP also played a huge part, which was actually signed into office during the previous administration. And that was definitely one of the bills Paul Ryan voted for.
Washington has not been telling you the truth.
Oh, and you have.
If we don't reform spending on government health and retirement programs, we have zero hope of getting our spending, and as a result, our debt crisis, under control. Next year, the government spends 68 cents out of every dollar you pay in taxes just to pay for these health and retirement programs and interest on the debt. By the year 2025, they will consume every penny of every tax dollar you send to Washington.
That's probably true. Honestly, that's one thing I didn't really fact check, but it seems reasonable with retirement and baby boomers, and we do have a high interest on the debt. However, that's one reason why we need real solutions and not more tax cuts and cuts that hurt the middle class.
Our budget saves and strengthens these programs. It fixes the flaws in Medicare and Medicaid that have made rising costs nearly impossible to check. This is the only way these programs can hope to survive and function into the future.
All right, it's pretty obvious, just looking at the information that he provided, the path to prosperity does not actually cut the deficit in the way that he's describing. And as far as the president's plan goes, even though it may not cut the deficit quite as fast as we would like, it still does cut our annual deficit.
Look, we have a choice of 2 futures. We know the path we are on right now. That's the path the president's proposing. A debt crisis, no health and retirement security, a diminished future, a stagnant country, less jobs, less prosperity. That is not the America we know. We can choose this other path, but we have to make that choice. We can lift the crushing burden of debt off of our children and grandchildren, and we can get this economy growing today.
We do have 2 choices. We can go with the path of prosperity, or we can go with the president's plan. The president's plan, I'm going to do a full video about it, but all I can say is that it increases some taxes on certain corporations, the top 1% of wage earners, things like that. However, what it gives us in return is a lot better.
It is up to our generation to pick this path. The question is, will we do it or not? It is up to us.
Also, there's a lot of information in the description. Click all the links if you choose. A lot of great stuff. Definitely something you might want to check out. Anyways, thanks a lot for tuning in.